Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony DiStauro, and I'm here to talk about the BMC AMI Platform initiative that we have going on. And the goal here of the initiative is to simplify mainframe management with AI and cloud. So we're going to step through a bunch of slides to show the state of where we are today, where we would like to be, and I got some mock-ups that I want to take you through and what our vision of what AMI Platform is all about. So at BMC, we've talked quite a bit about this initiative and our goal with this initiative here. And it really boils down to, and I don't think any of this is unfamiliar to this audience, the primary challenge with transformation in the mainframe space lies with the evolving workforce. We have our 30+ year professionals, tried and true, but they're on their way out as we segue in our next generation mainframers to our platform. And we identify that as quite the challenge as we go forward as an industry with the mainframe. So we also have this belief that organizations that can successfully integrate AI and cloud native capabilities into their mainframe environment, just like Anthony was saying, it's just another platform, will lead the way in the transformation in the mainframe space. It's critically important as we go forward. And what I'm going to be talking about today is based on a blog post that John McKinney did in July 15th, actually, or all around a simplification of the platform. So there's a QR code here. I highly encourage you guys to capture this, go out there and read this article. It's a great article about it. But for time purposes today, I have a small part of that statement of direction we're going to be talking about. So we really want to focus on our single point of entry, new modernized platform for our next generation mainframers into the space. Obviously, generative AI is a tremendous topic today. So what we want to do here is utilize that generative AI technology and capture as much expert experience that we possibly can into AI while we have the skills and knowledge available before this big shift out. We want to capture all that into AI in a chat bot-like experience. I'm going to talk about that. And then what we also want to do here is take a step back and look at all of our solutions across our AMI portfolio and really truly understand how we want to harness the power of generative AI and inject that into the right products in the right areas within the product, right? So one of the things that we're doing, we don't want to look at generative AI as a hammer and everything around us as a nail type approach, which a lot of folks are doing today. And that's a big problem. I see a lot of heads nodding here. So we are really taking a systematic approach to how we really want to look at our value and our solutions that we provide to you, and how do we truly elevate the value for you with generative AI. And now driving all the generative AI is, of course, LLMs and the backbone to all of this. And I want to talk to you a little bit about our philosophy on LLMs and the platform and your tribal knowledge that you can bring to our platform to fine-tune it for your particular needs in your environment. So before we dive in and start talking about the different aspects of AMI Platform and what we're trying to achieve, let's just take a level set and come up with about 8 different things that we can discuss here that we know about the next generation mainframer that we're going to have to address as we move forward, right? So they know they're new in career in our space. They know cloud concepts, right? They're coming out of colleges and universities today. They're actually knowing cloud concepts before they even get into college and universities. Modern programming languages on the platform, things like Python, JavaScript, etc., right? All these cloud or distributed system type languages now, they want to see that in the mainframe space now. They're very, very proficient in using things like RESTful APIs to build their solutions on top of, using SDKs and CLIs on different platforms that you find today in the cloud space. Of course, right? They rely on GPT. Almost to a fault, but they do rely on GPT. So how do we incorporate all that in? modern tooling. This is probably one of the biggest things when I talk to engineers, new engineers coming to the mainframe space. Some of the workflows and the processes and the tooling makes no sense to them. It's very intimidating to them. They would like to see more migration of more modern tools into our space. Obviously, they're going to have limited domain knowledge to whatever industry they're coming into. That's going to be a big challenge. Then also have limited access to experienced staff. Yes.
I just want to challenge the assumptions a little bit.
Sure.
Especially the brand new in the career.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the tech industry and it's being decimated right now for a lot of reasons. You got a lot of people that are mid-career,
Sure.
even people like me that learn COBOL and assembly in college that, maybe that's what I want to do and live the last part of my career out,
Sure.
going
Absolutely.
back to the mainframe space. So is that assumption really correct that it's people that are brand new in a career that have no domain knowledge in an industry?
No, but there is a segment.
Target?
No, it's not exclusively the target. No, that's just a segment of the space that we've recognized. And the last point here, limited access to staff. That's because staff is exiting out, retiring out, but also the senior staff is extremely taxed and overloaded today. They don't have the time to sit down with new in career, so that's quite the challenge. Okay. So let's just take a traditional view of what our AMI products look like today, right? So along the bottom there are different product areas, and our experiences come in the form of 3270, and I heard people chuckle on this one before, the classic web GUIs. We can't even look at web GUIs anymore and saying that's new and modern, right? Some web GUIs today are 20 years old, 25 years old. The workflows, the experience is way outdated, and the next generation mainframer doesn't even want to work with those type of web experiences. So how do we address all this? Green screen, I don't want to work on the green screen. It's not flashy, etc. So we know those challenges. So this is where we are today. So the next part of this journey is reimagining the platform and what we can do with it. So what if we build a layer in between our product areas here, what we're calling AMI Platform, and that platform provides many different types of services for consumption. And those services are GPT services, data services, discovery services, system services, etc. And if we had APIs and RESTful APIs and an SDK, etc., how about if that was the new entry point for getting into the mainframe? So we put this modern layer on top of our mainframe, and then we start building solutions on top of that. We enhance our existing solutions, we build new solutions, but we also open the platform to all of you, so that if you want to integrate features and functions of our platform, you most certainly can, and we're giving you different ways that you could do that. Now, this is attractive to that next generation mainframer that's coming in, that I can get to utilize all my skills that I've developed, and I could use things, and it's all containerized solution. I can roll it out into a cloud provider. I can roll it out on-prem. I get to use all the modern tooling. That's something that is attracting. But how about if we take all of that? All right, so we modernize the experience. We got this layer that we're calling here AMI Platform. And then we infuse the entire thing with AI and generative AI. That is the power of what we're providing here. No longer that new in career mainframer goes into this space feeling alone. They have that expert in a box. They got the AI there, something that they can lean on. And we'll talk about that in detail. Now, our approach to generative AI is something I want to cover today because it's really important, our approach. I already mentioned on the first bullet here, the experience, all the different ways that you can get to our generative AI or AI support through. There's going to be a management console, as you would expect, that's single point of entry. And I already mentioned the SDK, the CLI, etc. But the deployment is something I really want to talk about. We don't want to come to your environment and say, this is the way our platform needs to be deployed. All right, it's not our approach philosophically to it. we want to be very adaptive to your environment. So if you want to take our AMI platform and deploy it on-prem on Z, you're going to be able to do that. It's a microservice containerized solution. If you tell us you want to deploy it on-prem to some x86 servers, part of your VM infrastructure, you could do that. If you have a private cloud with AWS, Azure, whoever it may be, you could take this solution and roll it out there. Very adaptive to your needs with the platform. When it comes to the LLMs, that came up in conversation when Mark was up here speaking. We have different types of integrations with our AMI platform. So one of those Mark spoke about today was Code Explain. We ship our platform with the right LLM for the job that we're trying to achieve. It's not a one-size-fits-all with LLMs. I think you all know that at this point. So our architecture here is a multi-LLM model support. So whatever integrations and future products and solutions we build on top of this, we will deliver the right AI experience for that solution. Now, we've heard from customers, that's great that you're shipping LLMs out of the box, but due to corporate policy, we can't use your LLMs. We have to roll our own. So we built this architecture from the ground up so that you can bring your LLM choice to our platform. And that may come in a form of providing the platform a container with the LLM, or you could set up our platform to redirect if you have, corporate contract with, say, ChatGPT or any other type of GPT provider. You can configure our platform to delegate the work out to those providers. We're giving you all the flexibility to be comfortable with this architecture and this platform in that area when it comes to the LLMs. But we're going to take that one step further. Inferencing results out of an LLM for a particular problem is one thing. But we also going to give you the capabilities to infuse into this platform your tribal knowledge from your organization. So let's go back to what Mark was saying. If you have, for Code Explain, if you have best practices and standards that your engineers follow or need to be following, you can supply that all to our platform here, and we'll incorporate that and utilize that for Code Explain. But that's true for all the integrations with our platform. You can infuse it at a global level. So if you have a bunch of things that you want to bring into our platform for all consumers of the platform, you can do that. But also individual users of the platform, you can also send into the platform your own tribal knowledge assets. And when we're giving out results for you, we'll incorporate that also. Yes, sir.
Quite understanding what you mean. You mean a suite of applications, BMC applications have been developed, or?
Yeah, so what AMI Platform is going to be comprised of is a collection of applications that will be delivered through the platform, a set of services that will be delivered through the platform. Those sets of services will be used by our engineering teams to build solutions on top of, but they're also available to you to use if you would like to utilize those services also. So it's a platform like you would see any other type of platform providing all this functionality, whether it's products or services and whatnot. It's all going to be out of this platform.
Very, very complete. Thank you.
Okay.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
We talked a little bit earlier about how it's trained. Are you going to get into that at all? Or are you just?
No, I could talk about that right now, actually, since we're right here.
It's a good place. Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the way it works is that you guys have trained some LLMs, and I would love to know like what kind of things you have used to start the kickstart to train them off of, like what platforms you were using.
Yep.
That's part of the first question. And then the second part of the question is, once you're adding the tribal knowledge to it, so that are you basically using your own content and knowledge as filters? So when they go, you ask like a kind of generalized question that gets to the LLM, which was trained probably on a much wider model, but then you want the answers to come back through the organizational information?
Yes, I can get into detail about that. So we use open source LLMs, right? So right now we're working with LLMs like Mixtral, Llama 3, Granite, etc. Sorry, so we're using open source LLMs where we need. But to your point, we have a retrieval augmented generation pipeline. I'm sure you all heard about that. That is where we'll go for external knowledge that is specific to your domain or specific that the LLM wasn't trained on, right? So that could come in the form of what we supply when we ship our platform. We will have a vector database infused with a bunch of BMC knowledge that will be used alongside the LLM, as you would expect. But this is what I was saying also. Then we allow you to bring in your own tribal knowledge also to the platform, and we'll process that all for you and put it into our vector database. And we're going to give you the tooling to do that also. Actually, the tooling that we're using in-house to build that vector database, the same tooling we're going to make available through the platform so that you guys could utilize. Okay, making it really easy as we possibly can for you.
And then to verify, to like maybe expound a little bit on that. So when we're thinking tribal knowledge, that would be any type of business rules, any type of business logic, any type of existing code, existing things that you would want as a company, the LLM to be able to process through as it's figuring out.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a broad set of data that you would need to still put into a vector database to work with.
Yep.
But it's essentially everything you want it to consider from your business.
Absolutely.
It all stays on-prem. That never leaves.
Yes. So that's another really good point. That your data is your data. We do not do anything with it. The solution is deployed on-prem, so it's as secure as your environment is through our platform. That's entirely up to you to manage. Okay, so at the high level, this is what we're looking at for the BMC platform. We want to cater to that next generation mainframer with the new tooling, the new environment, services, etc. So now, what does that look like here? So I got a few slides I want to step you through, and this is what we're calling our AMI Platform Management Console. So if anybody here in the room, it's just like any other management console for any other type of platform or a cloud provider would have as the gateway into all their functionality. All right, so let's jump into that. Okay, so why are you starting a demo with a logon screen? Well, today, if using our products today, whether they're our green screen products or our different web experiences, as you move between our products today, you got to log into each product, and there's it's a disconnected experience across our products. So logging into the AMI platform, this is going to now support single sign-on into the AMI platform across those services, across those products. Single sign-on with also, as you would expect in any of the providers today, MFA support built right into the platform, connecting to whatever MFA providers that you work with today, all driven through this experience here. So now the whole thing about this is context. Once I log into this platform, it's going to know who I am, what I can and cannot do through the platform. But once I log into the platform, again, these are mock-ups. This is our vision of what the platform experience will be. Log into the platform. I have now, as you were saying here, what are the different products and what's going to be exposed out of the platform?
That's the platform.
Here's the different products I have available to me, the different services that are available for me to consume, etc. At this is the entry point landing page. But most importantly, you see on the right-hand side there's our AI assistant, which we're calling AMI Assistant, infused in the product experience. And at this point, AMI knows who I am also. So not only, it's filtering out on the products and services, AMI at this point is also fully aware of what I can and cannot do. So you can't go and start asking questions against that and trying to backdoor into the system. That will not happen. There's actually a data layer and a security layer that sits right across that. That's how we police all that activity. But here's what you would see when you get in there. Then at this point, you can click on a menu option here and launch a product. And now we launched the product, and I have Z Advisor here because Tony went through an example with Z Advisor, and I want to tie something he did to this demo here But you could say, well, launched right into Z Advisor, didn't have to do another logon. I'm right within the AMI platform experience, and I could start working with the product as I know and love today, right within our platform experience. And again, building on what Tony was mentioning, pulled up here on the screen DORA metrics for deployment frequency, and I just want you guys to take note of these two numbers here. This is for the average for deployment on components and packages. Just take note of those two numbers, 158 and 15. I'm going to come back around to that, show you how that ties together with our platform experience and AI. But so again, using the product as we know and love. Now, when I hit the home button, I can go right back to the home screen. But now at this point, I want to talk about that AMI assistant on the right-hand side. So at this point, I could start interacting with AMI. Right? Now, AMI knows who I am, my context, what I can and cannot do, my capabilities, all based on my roles and my role access. So I can ask AMI at this point to, generate, show me those values for what you guys just saw on the screen for the deployment frequency. And as you would expect from chat technology, it will come back with those two values for the deployment frequency that you saw on the previous screen. And that's all well and good. But now we want to take this one step further. We really want to take true generative AI, utilize true generative AI in a product experience well beyond what you see most people doing today. Most people are doing with chat, what is or how to, asking questions in that type of range. But we want to utilize the true generative nature of what we can do. So at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to ask AMI Assistant to generate a chart for me with these metrics over the last 90 days and package that up for me in a PNG image and email it to John at BMC. John asked me, he says, hey, I need you to send me this report. I need to see this information. So I could just come here and ask the assistant to do that. And one of the things that Tony did mention when he was demoing is how you can change the time specificity of what you were showing on the screen, and it would generate that chart for you. But I just did it. I didn't have to go back into the product, navigate through the product. I just asked AMI Assistant to do it, and AMI generated the result for me right here and right on the fly, immediately get the result back from AMI. Now, this is all well and good. This is what we expect from chat technology. But there's one downfall to chat technology today. And everybody keeps falling into the same trap with it. Generative AI and chat technology is fantastic. But it's only fantastic when you interact with it. Otherwise, the technology sits there cold and idle until you go and work with it. We're taking AMI Assistant to a level we're calling active GPT. And what we're going to do here is put AMI Assistant to work for you. So what's going to happen here, John reached back out to me, says, you know what, I really like what you generated for me. It's fabulous. I need it every week. And I want you to send it to my direct reports every week. So, of course, there's many different ways we can do that. But I can simply here now ask AMI to schedule this prompt that I created, schedule that prompt to run based on a calendar event to generate this every Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock and send it to this distribution list. And AMI would sit there and do that on my behalf. And we're building this support into all aspects of the platform, putting the assistant to work for you. So that's an aspect of the platform that we're currently working with. The other part of the platform, which is really important, I need to discuss, is you heard me mention multiple times, the platform knows who you are, what your roles are, what you can and cannot do. But the problem with GPT technology also today is, if you're very seasoned at a certain discipline, and I'm not, we can ask the same types of questions of chat and get the same responses back. You would find that very frustrating because it may be too simple for you. I may find it frustrating because it's too complex for me to understand. So the other part of this platform is not only knowing you, but understanding your skill levels in the roles that you play. So our AI engine understands that. So when we start formulating responses out of our AI engine, it takes your skill levels into account when it gives you responses.
So how do you do that in the inquiry or in the database? How do you make the distinction between novice and senior?
Yeah, so we're going to give you the capabilities in the platform to set what you believe your skill ratings are, right? We're going to have mechanism for you to go do that. Then as we give you back responses, we're going to give you a mechanism to say, this response was too simple for me. This response was too complex for me. We're going to give you the knobs and switches to rate our responses back to you, and basically working together with you and the AI to keep fine-tuning that,
Right.
so that our AI engine gets smarter as we go.
The answers will get better and better over time.
Correct, absolutely.
Is that based on the quality of the prompt he's putting in?
Both, that will come, yeah, absolutely.
LLM learning?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to be adding to the platform is something called the prompt builder.
Mhm.
To help you in those early days of,
Creating that
yes,
prompt.
exactly. There's going to be a whole tool in here that is going to allow you to create and manage prompts, and we will help you build those prompts through a very easy point and click, drag, drop kind of way.
And is that going to train off the model, say, that doesn't, I provide to you, or
Yes, it will,
how's
yeah,
it gonna train?
yes.
So
Okay.
to get a little dive a little deeper and ask a question, how different is that from just asking Google Assistant to say, remind me tomorrow and every week for the for next 6 weeks to do this? Like how different?
You most certainly could do that, but all Google Assistant is going to do is remind you that you have to do it.
I get that. But
But
really,
that's
really all this seems like
Yeah.
is you're just saying, hey, that's great. I like this report. Send it to whoever. Like you're just setting a cron job. It's not really doing
but that's-
actively in the background.
But that's not based on a calendar event. So the other ways that we can trigger prompts is going to be integrating with other BMC products. So when events happen at other BMC products, you'll be able to
Okay,
run
so
prompts.
what you're doing, the original like sample here is hey, I have this report and I want to send it
Yeah,
off there.
it's just the same.
What at the broader scale is what you're saying is like, okay, you're wanting to take data and it's recognizing, okay, you've asked it to do this. Now, how do we take all of the other existing data that you've allowed it to have access to within your system to decide how to build something that's more relevant or more information driven for you to make decisions or for others to
Correct.
make decisions
Yes.
with. So
Yeah.
that's the behind the scenes, what does it without you really telling it to. It's now just starting to build those links between the different systems to have data that you can do something with.
That's correct. And
Isn't that a little scary? Because what happens if I'm somebody that for a particular domain has all sorts of access to content and information,
mhm.
and I run this, I tell Amy, hey, send this information out every week to this distribution list. What if it grabs something that everybody on that distribution list ain't supposed to see? Will it also say, oh, can't send it this week because people aren't supposed to see it?
Yeah, so that's a really good point. And there's other technologies out there that take into consideration who's on that distribution list and double and will verify if they have access to that. That is something that is, we have, for time purposes, I couldn't get into all the details. There's a layer here, a technology called the AMI Data Services. And all of that information moving in and out of the mainframe and who it's moving to, that's the mechanism that is going to control all of that. But that is a fantastic question.
So is it on the roadmap that this single sign-on and the role-based access would help with that?
Yes, yes. There's going to be a platform administrator and administration tools here to control that.
So how far out is that?
I don't have, I'm the architect. I don't have all that type of information.
That's the one big question, wasn't it?
Rain asking important questions.
All right, so there's one more aspect I really want to cover here real quick. This is our AMI Ops Insight product, and it will recognize events in the system and generate a probable cause analysis graph. Now, this could be very daunting and intimidating to the new in career to understand what this graph is trying to tell us in the environment. We're also now taking this technology that we're building and we're adding a layer called explainability in. So something like this, you can ask Amy to explain what's happening in this probable cause analysis graph. So any visuals that we're creating, whether it's these topology graphs, regular charts, etc., we're going to have this level of explainability in there also for that new career to help on their journey into the mainframe.